Hi everyone, welcome to English Story School, where we unlock the power of language through the magic of storytelling. Have you ever wondered what really drives someone to become a bully? Picture this, a quiet school hallway, filled with the chatter of friends, laughter echoing off the walls. But then from the corner, you hear a sharp voice cutting through the noise. Someone is belittling another student, leaving them feeling small and alone. It's a scene that plays out all too often. But what if I told you that behind every bully lies a story waiting to be uncovered? Today, we're diving deep into the bully's transformation, exploring not just the actions, but the roots, the motivations, and ultimately, the possibility of change. Let's take a journey through the eyes of a character we'll call Jake. At first glance, Jake might come across as the archetypal school bully, tall, with a scowl that could intimidate the bravest of souls. But if you dig a little deeper, you'll discover a much more complex story. Jake didn't always exude that tough exterior. In fact, his childhood was steeped in chaos and confusion, shaping him into the person he would become. Jake grew up in a home where the air was thick with tension. Picture this. The sound of shouting reverberates through the walls as his parents argue late into the night. Jake learned early on that love was not a given. It was something to be fought for, and often that fight resulted in pain. The emotional landscape of his home was littered with anger, and affection felt like a distant dream. In this environment, Jake developed a worldview where power and control became his only tools for survival. He watched as the loudest voices commanded attention, and he absorbed the lesson that strength came from instilling fear rather than fostering trust. By the time Jake reached middle school, he stood at a crossroads. This was a pivotal moment in his life, where the innocence of childhood collided with the harsh realities of adolescence. He entered the bustling halls of his new school, a place filled with laughter and camaraderie, but instead of finding friendship, he felt more isolated than ever. The laughter of his peers became a haunting soundtrack, reminding him of his own loneliness. In his mind, Jake believed that to survive, he had to wield the laughter of others like a weapon. It became a twisted sense of strength, a way to assert dominance over those he felt were more vulnerable. Each insult he hurled, each derogatory comment, reinforced the illusion of power. It was a cycle of hurt that fed his insecurities. The more he bullied, the more he felt in control, even if just for a moment. But beneath the bravado, there was an underlying fear gnawing at him. With each harsh word, he wasn't just isolating his victims, he was building walls around himself, fortifying his defenses against the very connections he craved. Ironically, the laughter he sought to command was driving everyone away, leaving him in a fortress of solitude. As he roamed the school grounds, Jake's reputation grew, but so did his loneliness. He watched classmates form bonds, share secrets, and experience the warmth of genuine friendship. In those fleeting moments, a flicker of longing ignited within him. He wanted to be part of that world, to be seen not as a bully, but as a friend. But the persona he had crafted was so rigid that any attempt to reach out felt impossible. Each time he looked into the eyes of those he bullied, he saw not just fear, but a reflection of his own despair. This internal struggle became a silent battle within Jake, a battle between the persona he projected and the boy he truly was, trapped beneath layers of anger and insecurity. The harsh truth began to dawn on him. Every insult hurled, every laugh forced at the expense of others, only reinforced his isolation. The strength he sought through bullying was a mirage, a temporary fix that left him feeling emptier each day. Jake was caught in a cycle of self-destruction, where the very actions he believed would elevate him only served to bury him deeper in loneliness. As we unravel Jake's story, we realize that this transformation isn't just about him. It's a powerful reminder of the emotional complexities behind bullying. His journey illuminates the truth that bullies often wear their toughness like armor, shielding themselves from the vulnerabilities they fear exposing. The more we understand these intricacies, the better equipped we are to foster empathy and compassion, not just for those who suffer at the hands of bullies, but for the bullies themselves, who are often fighting their own battles. Jake's journey reflects a pivotal moment in many young lives, a moment that calls for understanding, connection, and the courage to break free from the patterns of pain. It's a journey that challenges us all to look beyond the surface, to see the humanity in one another, and to remember that even the most intimidating figures are shaped by their past. Now let's dive into the psychology behind Jake's transformation. Understanding the mind of a bully can reveal layers of complexity that often go overlooked. Research shows that many bullies mirror the behaviors they've experienced themselves. Imagine a young boy like Jake, raised in an environment where shouting replaces affection, where power dynamics are established through intimidation. In these turbulent homes, aggression often becomes the only language learned, and for someone like Jake, it's the shield he chooses to wield. This cycle of behavior can often trace back to childhood experiences. For Jake, the shouting matches at home weren't just noise, they were lessons. He learned that vulnerability was dangerous, that showing emotion could lead to further pain. So, he constructed a facade, one where he projected strength by tearing others down. This psychological defense mechanism is common among bullies. By attacking others, they deflect attention from their own insecurities. It's as if they're saying, "If I can make you feel small, perhaps I won't have to confront my own feelings of inadequacy." Now let's envision a world where compassion replaces cruelty. What if, instead of reacting with judgment and hostility, we offered understanding and support? Consider how different Jake's life might have been if someone had reached out. A teacher who noticed the anger behind his eyes, or a classmate who dared to stand up for the victim rather than laugh along. These small acts of kindness could have monumental impacts, acting as catalysts for change in Jake's life. For instance, imagine Jake sitting in class, his mind swirling with confusion and frustration. He lashes out during a group project, calling a fellow student stupid for making a mistake. Instead of retaliating or ignoring him, what if a teacher intervened? She could approach him gently, asking, "Jake, I can see you're upset. Do you want to talk about what's bothering you?" This moment of empathy could open a door for Jake, allowing him to express his feelings instead of hiding behind bravado. Or picture a scene in the lunchroom. A student named Alex witnesses Jake bullying another kid. Instead of looking away, Alex decides to speak up, saying, "That's not cool, Jake. Everyone deserves respect." This simple act of standing up for someone else could shift Jake's perspective. It might prompt him to question his actions, even if just for a moment, and consider the impact they have on those around him. These pivotal moments of connection, whether from a teacher, a friend, or even a stranger, can initiate a ripple effect. They challenge the cycle of bullying, offering an alternative narrative for someone like Jake. Each instance of compassion serves as a reminder that vulnerability doesn't equate to weakness and that strength can be found in empathy rather than aggression. As we peel back the layers of Jake's journey, it's crucial to recognize that transformation isn't an overnight process. It's a gradual awakening, often sparked by these seemingly small interactions. Through consistent guidance and support, Jake could learn to dismantle the walls he built around himself. He might begin to understand that reaching out for help doesn't make him less strong. It makes him more human. Moreover, the power of community plays a vital role in this transformation. Imagine if Jake's entire school adopted a culture of kindness, where students were encouraged to support one another and confront bullying as a collective responsibility. Programs that foster peer mentorship and teach emotional intelligence can provide the tools necessary for young people to navigate their feelings constructively. Jake would not just be an isolated figure acting out of pain. He'd be part of a supportive network that empowers him to choose compassion over cruelty. In this envisioned landscape, empathy becomes a guiding principle. The focus shifts from punishment to understanding, creating an environment where both bullies and victims can find healing. It's about fostering a culture that recognizes the shared human experience, that acknowledges everyone's struggles and triumphs, and that champions connection over division. So, as we reflect on Jake's journey, let's keep in mind the profound impact that simple acts of kindness can have. The next time you witness someone being bullied, remember that your response could change the trajectory of a life. Every moment offers a chance to be a source of support and understanding. If we can cultivate a world where compassion is the norm, we not only help individuals like Jake transform, but also build a community where everyone feels valued and respected. But transformation isn't just about intervention. It's equally rooted in self-reflection. Imagine Jake standing alone in the schoolyard, watching as his former friends drift away. He feels the sting of isolation, a consequence of his own actions, and it strikes deeper than any taunt he ever threw. Reprimanded by school authorities after a particularly harsh episode, he faces not only disciplinary measures, but the weight of regret. It's a harsh reality check. The laughter that once echoed in his ears now feels like a haunting silence, amplifying his loneliness. As he grapples with the fallout, Jake begins to confront the choices he made. The bravado he projected, the laughter he forced from others at the expense of his peers, none of it provides the satisfaction he once sought. Instead, he feels a growing emptiness. This moment is pivotal. It's when he starts to peel back the layers of his tough exterior and confront the deeper issues that drove him to bully in the first place. Self-reflection is a daunting process, especially for someone like Jake, who has built his identity around aggression. He starts to ask himself hard questions. Why did I feel the need to hurt others? What was I really trying to prove? He reflects on moments of anger and fear, perhaps memories of feeling powerless at home, or the deep-seated insecurities that led him to lash out. Slowly, he realizes that the strength he sought through bullying was nothing more than a mirage, a facade that crumbled under the weight of his loneliness. This realization marks a crucial turning point in Jake's journey. Faced with his own emptiness, he makes the brave choice to seek help. It's a significant step, one that many struggle with. Acknowledging vulnerability can feel like admitting defeat. But for Jake, it becomes an act of courage. He reaches out to a school counselor, someone he has always viewed as an authority figure, but never as a source of support. The counselor listens patiently, creating a safe space for Jake to unpack his feelings and confront the shadows of his past. Through therapy, Jake begins to explore the roots of his behavior. The sessions are often challenging. He learns to confront feelings he had long buried under layers of anger. The counselor guides him in understanding that his actions were a misguided attempt to cope with pain, not a reflection of who he truly is. It's a powerful realization. Jake learns that he doesn't have to be defined by his past. He can rewrite his narrative. As he delves deeper into his own psyche, Jake finds himself surrounded by new friendships, supportive relationships that flourish in the absence of bullying. He begins to connect with classmates on a genuine level, discovering that vulnerability can lead to authentic connections. They share their own struggles, fears, and triumphs, creating an environment where empathy reigns. With each meaningful interaction, Jake learns that strength lies in lifting others up rather than tearing them down. This newfound support system acts as a balm for his wounded spirit. It encourages him to embrace his emotions rather than hide from them. He learns that it's okay to express sadness, fear, or even regret. Each session, each conversation, peels away another layer of his tough exterior, revealing a more compassionate and understanding individual beneath. Jake starts to recognize the beauty in vulnerability, how it fosters connections and cultivates empathy. Over time, the shift in Jake's perspective becomes evident. He no longer seeks validation through dominance. Instead, he finds fulfillment in acts of kindness and support. He begins volunteering with younger students, using his own experiences to help others navigate their challenges. In these moments, he sees the impact of compassion firsthand. The smiles on the kids' faces, the gratitude in their eyes, it fills him with a sense of purpose he had long been missing. As Jake continues on this path of transformation, he learns to forgive himself for his past mistakes. It's a vital step in his healing process. He understands that everyone is capable of growth and change. This realization allows him to break free from the shackles of guilt that had held him captive. He becomes a beacon of hope, not just for others, but for himself, learning that his journey doesn't have to define him. In this transformative phase, Jake embodies the idea that true strength comes from facing one's vulnerabilities. It's a journey filled with ups and downs, but through it all, he discovers the power of connection, compassion, and self-acceptance. Jake's story serves as a reminder that transformation is a multifaceted process. It requires not just the willingness to change, but the courage to reflect on one's actions and the empathy to seek support. In the end, he emerges not as a bully, but as an advocate for kindness and understanding, a testament to the strength found in vulnerability. As we draw near to the end of Jake's transformation, it becomes increasingly clear that his journey is not just a singular tale. It's a mirror reflecting the paths we all navigate, whether we find ourselves as victims, bystanders, or even bullies. Each of these roles carries its own weight of experience, pain, and potential for growth. By examining Jake's evolution, we can uncover valuable lessons about empathy and understanding that apply to everyone. Jake's story serves as a powerful reminder that behind every act of bullying is a person struggling with their own battles. It highlights the notion that bullies are not inherently malicious. They are often individuals grappling with their own fears and insecurities. As Jake confronts his past actions, he embodies the realization that everyone is shaped by their experiences. When we recognize this shared humanity, we open the door to compassion, allowing for deeper connections and healing. For those who have been victims of bullying, Jake's transformation offers a beacon of hope. It illustrates that recovery and healing are possible even after enduring significant pain. Victims often carry the scars of their experiences long after the bullying stops, but witnessing someone like Jake evolve can empower them. It can inspire them to seek their own paths of healing and resilience. They might find solace in knowing that their pain can lead to growth, not just for themselves, but for others as well. Then there are the bystanders, those who witness bullying but often feel powerless to intervene. Jake's story compels bystanders to reflect on their own roles. It encourages them to recognize that silence can perpetuate the cycle of bullying. When they choose to speak up, whether by standing in solidarity with the victim or simply offering support, they become catalysts for change. Imagine a bystander witnessing Jake's transformation. They might feel inspired to become advocates for kindness and empathy, understanding that their actions, no matter how small, can contribute to a larger movement against bullying. The transformation of an individual like Jake underscores the importance of creating environments where open communication thrives. Schools, communities, and families must prioritize conversations around empathy, respect, and emotional intelligence. When we foster safe spaces for dialogue, we empower everyone, students, teachers, parents, to share their experiences and feelings without fear of judgment. It's within these supportive environments that true healing can occur. Imagine a school implementing programs that encourage students to express their emotions openly, to discuss their struggles and triumphs. In such an atmosphere, bullying becomes less about dominance and more about understanding. Students learn to listen, to empathize, and to support one another. When Jake reflects on his past, he no longer feels the need to hide behind aggression. He learns that vulnerability can be a source of strength. He discovers that sharing his own story can inspire others to open up, creating a ripple effect of compassion. As Jake's narrative evolves from one of pain to one of redemption, it becomes a powerful testament to the idea that every person possesses the potential for change, if only they are given the chance. This journey of transformation is complex and multifaceted. It's not a straightforward path, but rather a winding road filled with setbacks, growth, and revelations that weave together the fabric of human experience. Initially, Jake's story is rooted in pain, pain that stems from his tumultuous upbringing and the anger he projected onto others. This pain manifests in his bullying, creating a cycle of hurt that isolates him further. However, as he begins to seek help and engage in self-reflection, he opens himself up to the possibility of redemption. This is where the journey becomes intricate. Change doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process that often features a series of ups and downs. Imagine Jake's first few therapy sessions. He walks in, feeling both hopeful and terrified. He's been through so much, and the prospect of confronting his past feels daunting. During the initial conversations, he might experience moments of clarity, realizations about his behavior, and the motivations behind it. Yet, these moments are often accompanied by doubt. Old habits die hard, and the comfort of his past behaviors can feel safer than the uncertainty of change. For instance, he might feel a surge of anger during a discussion about a conflict at school, slipping back into his old ways of thinking. In these moments, he could question whether real change is even possible. But as he continues to engage with his therapist and cultivate new friendships, he learns that setbacks are part of the growth process. Imagine him leaving a session feeling defeated, only to be reminded by a supportive friend that everyone struggles and that progress is rarely linear. These friends share their own stories of failure and recovery, helping Jake to see that doubt doesn't negate his progress. It's merely part of the journey. Through consistent support and understanding from his counselor and peers, Jake starts to build resilience. He learns to lean into discomfort instead of retreating into his old behaviors. This is where the real transformation begins. Each time he confronts a setback, like an old trigger that causes him to feel angry or defensive, he has the opportunity to choose a different response. Instead of lashing out, he might take a moment to breathe, reflect, and express his feelings constructively. Each choice to act differently becomes a building block in his path to redemption. Jake's journey exemplifies the idea that redemption isn't just for the innocent. It's for anyone who is willing to confront their actions and seek a better path. This realization is crucial. It dismantles the notion that only those who have never made mistakes deserve forgiveness or the chance to change. Instead, Jake embodies the belief that acknowledging one's flaws is the first step toward growth. He learns that vulnerability, rather than being a weakness, can actually foster deeper connections and understanding with others. As he continues on this path, Jake finds himself drawn to helping others who have experienced similar struggles. Perhaps he starts a peer support group at school, offering a safe space for students to share their experiences. In these sessions, he not only shares his story, but encourages others to embrace their vulnerabilities. He becomes a living example of how one can rise from the ashes of their past, inspiring his peers to recognize that they too can change. This active engagement in helping others solidifies Jake's own transformation. Each time he offers support, he reinforces his commitment to empathy and understanding. He realizes that redemption is not a destination, it's an ongoing process. By helping others navigate their challenges, he strengthens his resolve to continue growing and evolving. Ultimately, Jake's narrative becomes a beacon of hope, illustrating that change is possible for everyone, regardless of their past mistakes. His journey serves as a reminder that embracing vulnerability can lead to profound growth. By confronting his own pain, he not only finds redemption for himself, but also paves the way for others to find their own paths to healing. Through this interconnectedness, Jake illustrates the transformative power of compassion, understanding, and community support. As we reflect on Jake's journey, we're reminded that the potential for change resides within us all. It's a call to action for each of us to embrace our own complexities and those of others, creating an environment where growth is celebrated, setbacks are normalized, and redemption is always within reach. Through patience, kindness, and a willingness to understand one another, we can forge paths of transformation that ripple outwards, creating a more compassionate world for everyone. Ultimately, Jake's story serves as a powerful call to action, urging us to create and nurture an environment filled with empathy, a space where the cycle of bullying can be effectively dismantled. It's a narrative that invites us to examine our roles in this intricate web of human interaction. Whether we find ourselves as bullies, bystanders, or victims, each of us holds the potential to influence the dynamics around us, and Jake's journey exemplifies how collective commitment to kindness and understanding can lead to profound change. Imagine a world where every individual feels empowered to contribute positively to their community. Jake's transformation illustrates that breaking the cycle of bullying begins with self-awareness. It challenges us to look inward and reflect on our own actions and attitudes. Are we inadvertently perpetuating harmful behaviors through silence, indifference, or even passive complicity? Recognizing our part in this larger narrative is the first step toward fostering an environment where empathy thrives. For those who may have bullied others like Jake once did, there's a crucial opportunity for redemption. His journey shows that acknowledging past mistakes is not a sign of weakness. Rather, it's an essential step toward growth. By confronting their actions, bullies can begin to understand the pain they may have caused and seek to change their behavior. Imagine if Jake had chosen to remain silent about his feelings of regret, continuing to lash out in anger instead of reaching out for help. His story reminds us that the path to transformation is not about perfection. It's about the willingness to learn, adapt, and strive for better. On the other hand, for those who witness bullying but feel powerless to intervene, the bystanders, Jake's story speaks volumes. It emphasizes the importance of taking action. Bystanders have a unique position. They can either allow the cycle to continue or become agents of change. By simply standing up, speaking out, or offering support to victims, they can play a pivotal role in altering the social dynamics at play. Imagine the impact a single voice can have in a tense situation. How a small act of courage can inspire others to join in, creating a wave of support that challenges bullying head-on. Victims of bullying, too, can find inspiration in Jake's narrative. His transformation illustrates that healing is possible and that they are not alone in their struggles. It encourages victims to reach out for help, share their stories, and build connections with those who can support them. This community of support can help empower individuals to reclaim their narratives, to see their worth, and to recognize that their experiences do not define them. Imagine a school where victims find solace in shared experiences, where they uplift one another and collectively decide that they will not be defined by the bullying they've endured. As we commit to fostering empathy, we must also cultivate an environment where open communication is not just encouraged, but celebrated. Schools, workplaces, and communities should be places where discussions about feelings, challenges, and personal stories are commonplace. Imagine workshops focused on emotional intelligence, where individuals learn to express their feelings constructively and listen actively to others. In such an environment, empathy becomes a practice, a skill that everyone can develop and hone. This proactive approach dismantles the stigma around discussing mental health and emotional well-being, creating spaces where everyone feels safe to share and be heard. Furthermore, the power of modeling behavior cannot be underestimated. When leaders, teachers, parents, mentors demonstrate kindness and empathy in their interactions, they set the tone for those around them. Imagine a classroom where a teacher regularly checks in with students, not just academically, but emotionally. These small gestures can create a ripple effect, inspiring students to act similarly toward their peers. When kindness becomes the norm, it cultivates a culture where bullying is less likely to take root. Jake's story reminds us that transformation is not a solitary endeavor. It requires a community. When individuals come together with a shared commitment to empathy, they create a powerful force for change. Each act of kindness, each moment of understanding, contributes to a larger movement that can redefine the social landscape. Picture a school filled with students who stand up for one another, who offer a helping hand instead of a harsh word. This vision is attainable, but it necessitates collective action and a commitment to fostering an inclusive environment. In conclusion, Jake's journey is a clarion call for all of us to take responsibility. By examining our roles, whether as bullies, bystanders, or victims, we can choose to commit to kindness and understanding. Each of us has the capacity to transform not only our own lives, but also the lives of those around us. Together, we can cultivate an atmosphere where empathy thrives, where individuals are uplifted instead of torn down, and where the cycle of bullying is not just broken, but replaced with a culture of support and compassion. Let's heed Jake's story as a reminder that we all have the power to contribute to a brighter, kinder future, one act of empathy at a time. As we reflect on Jake's journey, we recognize that change is possible for everyone. His evolution becomes a testament to the power of second chances, of understanding, and of community. The story invites us to envision a world where compassion reigns, where we uplift one another, and where every individual, regardless of their past, can embrace the potential for a brighter future. Through empathy and understanding, we can collectively reshape our environments, ensuring that the cycle of bullying is not just interrupted, but entirely transformed into a culture of support, growth, and healing. So, as we wrap up this exploration into the bully's transformation, remember this: every action has a story behind it, and every person is capable of growth. By fostering compassion and connection, we can create a world where no one feels the need to wield hurt as a weapon. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.